Watching world events unfold before our eyes can make your head spin. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 3 of the Torah portion of Beshalach. Let's go now into Shemot, Exodus, chapter number 14, and begin reading with verse 1. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they turn and camp before Paharoth, between Migdal and the sea, opposite Baal Zephon. Camp before it by the sea. For Pharaoh shall say of the children of Israel, They are entangled in the land, the wilderness has closed them in. And I shall strengthen the heart of Pharaoh, and he shall pursue them. But I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh and over all of his army, and the Mitzrites shall know that I am Yahweh. And they did so. And it was reported to the sovereign of Mitzrayim that the people had fled, and that the heart of Pharaoh and his servants were turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this? That we have let Israel go from serving us. So he made his chariot ready, and took his people with him. And he took 600 choice chariots, and all the chariots of Mitzrayim with officers over them all. Yahweh strengthened the heart of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and he pursued the children of Israel. But the children of Israel went out defiantly. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? Yah is not finished with Mitzrayim. He's not finished with Pharaoh. About the time you think the battle's over, Yah has one more victory lap in mind. Now, it's a challenging lap. It's a journey leg that you think, well, why was this even necessary? But Yah's not about to go with a 90% victory. He's going to completely destroy Pharaoh, his army, and all of Mitzrayim, and he's going to finally drive the last nail into their coffin and declare, I am Yod-Heh, Vav-Heh, and there is none else. They will get the message. So they are directed to go to a place called Baal Zephon. This is perhaps, in some scholars' mindsets, the last deity of Mitzrayim or Egypt that has not yet been destroyed. It is a god that is supposed to reign over the northern region and over the Sea of Reeds in particular. And so there is two mountains, if you will, that are standing opposite, and a narrow gap in between the mountains that spreads out then onto the seashore. With Israel gone through the gap and now on the sandy beach area, they're trapped. They can't go across the water, they don't think. But Pharaoh and his army can squeeze through that narrow gap between the two hillsides or mountains, and with nowhere to go, they will be, he will decimate Israel on the beach. So he thinks. And so the plan is. Now, there is a line here that says that it was reported to Pharaoh. We don't know who it was that came into the throne room and started spinning things with the report of, I don't know why we did this. There is a spin cycle on the 24-hour news media networks. And they will broach a subject, and they will declare the who, what, when, and where of the subject, and then begin to elaborate between the various people on the panel. And then they'll bring in the experts, and then they'll bring in those that have an opposing view. And they will go on, and they'll take a single subject, and you know this, they will milk it for at least 20 minutes of coverage because they got to fill the time slot. But they try to keep spinning it and trying to spin you to get you emotionally involved and attached so that you'll keep checking back on this and make sure you don't miss the next report. It's all about marketing and salesmanship. Now, the one who is the viewer does not always recognize this, and they're just hungry and curious for more information. which will be handed out in small spoonful-size segments. But what happens is that the spin cycle of the news media, depending on which version you watch, will in effect give you the propaganda version of their understanding of things and feed that to you to where you digest it and adopt their vantage point, their perspective. In the spirit realm, it is much the same way. You will be given advisors, those that will come with a word for you, or someone will come advising and encouraging you along a particular path. And they'll bring up the subject over and over again as you encounter them on the job, in the neighborhood, in the marketplaces, and just try to encourage you along a particular path. Well, the question is, where is Yah leading us in this matter? Pharaoh's heart becomes turned. After exclaiming, "Get out," drive them out, and maybe finally being free of this people, someone comes in with the spin cycle on it, and he's all riled up again. I was thinking about this. Consider the spin cycle in your washing machine. What is its purpose? Clothes that are completely saturated in detergents and water are put into a spin cycle, and the spin is fast enough that the garments are pushed to a wall and the water is extracted. Moisture, the water is extracted from because of the speed of the cycle. If we allow ourselves to be engaged in the spin cycles of this world, the effect would to be draining all the water of the Word, waters of refreshing from the Ruach out of us, and leave us dry. Not saying you shouldn't watch the news, not saying you shouldn't be mindful of what's going on, but be careful of the spin that is taking place. Now, let's go to one other section here, and that it says that Pharaoh took his chariots, his 600 choice chariots, and all the chariots of Mitzrayim. Well, it seems to be redundant. If he took all the chariots of Mitzrayim, that would include the 600 choice chariots, would it not? Would they not be considered a part of the all chariots of Mitzrayim? So what is being said here? He very well could have had a select number of specialized chariots that were designed for a certain tactic on the battlefield. But again, the idea all the chariots of Mitzrayim were taken would include them. Spiritually speaking, there may be a deeper level of understanding than just the Peshat, the normal reading of the text. The deeper thinkers, if you will, of rabbinical scholarship suggest that these are alluding to spiritual chariots. That is, that there are certain spirits who operate as if they're charioteers. They have a fast, mobile, threatening, intimidating demeanor, and that the armies of the spiritual realm above were orchestrating the armies of the physical army below, and that they were lining up and moving against Israel. The opposing forces of the people of Israel oftentimes goes beyond someone sitting behind a news desk, someone sitting behind a governmental desk or a part of a governmental body. We should understand and know that there are spiritual elements that are spinning the events and the information to world leaders and to the news media to put a particular slant on Israel. But here's the key. Yah is able to create a path for Israel. He will create a path for you. A path of deliverance for you is a path of destruction for your adversaries. Be encouraged with that. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.